So, can I ask, like, what was the beginning of the relationship between the guys that Cantwell's had the issue with? And, because obviously they were working together for a while.
Well,
so I just wonder how that...
That's a great question, because Vic Mackey
I can tell you.
The call.
Yeah. Basically, to sum it up, last year, I felt like he was getting maybe an unfair shake from the DS people, and we were having issues with them before anything else. Last year, and they leaked some stuff from a Bull Patrol Discord server, and we're taking it out of context, and we're trying to accuse us of being pipe bombers and all that stuff, if you remember that. But
yeah, I think
so that happened.
I listened to a podcast where you guys were talking about.
Well, wasn't that right around the time we had Cantwell on our show?
Yeah,
it was around March or February of 2018.
Okay, it was before we started, and then it developed over the year. Okay, understandable. Fair enough. Carry on, Vic.
So to sum it up, basically we got kind of friendly with him, and we were kind of both resistant to the whole Amnet thing, and that kind of developed into our show. Our first one we did, our first official Bullcast, was with Chris actually, and he actually offered to host our show on his site, which we appreciated, and so that's really the relationship we had, was our show was on his site. And more people started listening that were from our orbit to his show because of that. And it wasn't really like we were deeply involved in any of the stuff that he did, and vice versa. It's not like he was in Bull Patrol, but so it was basically like that for a while. And then when he finally got all his legal stuff hammered out in June or July last year, that's when he started trying to cool down a little bit and pull back. And when he said on that show the other night that I wanted to just attack Andrew Anglin in, what was it? That was around August. No, that was October, because it was the midterms thing he brought up. He said, I just wanted to attack Andrew Anglin on my site, and just post all this stuff about it. And I told him, no, I'm not trying to be divisive before the midterms. And well, the thing is that it wasn't just attacking Anglin. It was the fourth Bullcast, and that was where we exposed the mod asking for our van and our docs, on the BBS, on the Stormer. And I went to him before, and I showed him the screenshots, and he said, wow, that's pretty bad, man. That definitely should be brought to light, but can you wait until after the midterm? So it wasn't like I just wanted to make a post saying, like, oh, Anglin's a poopy head or something. I mean, it was actual evidence-based. These guys wanted our docs and, to ban us and testify. So when he's just saying I was blindly attacking him, and he's backtracked completely on that because he used to support that. But his whole thing was, oh, just wait until the midterms. I told him, really, you want to sit on something where there's actual evidence of bad actors trying to dox and ban people they don't like over jokes? And he said, well, blah. And then privately, this was a communication between just him and I said, sorry, squeaky brakes, but I said that, okay, that's fine then if you don't want to put it up on the site before the midterms. I don't think it's going to affect anything, but if you feel that way, then we can just, post it on our site, which we had at the time, or somewhere else. And he said, okay, that's fine. And I thought it was fine, like a mutual parting of ways. It wasn't nasty at all. And then there were some delays in getting the show out on Radio Werewolf, which is where we're at now. And he messaged me in his Public Radical Agenda group, and he asked me, like, oh, why would you put this up after the midterms anyway, if your whole thing was releasing as soon as possible? And it's like, well, one of us, had a medical emergency, and the show had to be done in 2 parts. But, he just kind of started antagonizing us and acting like we were dishonest when we weren't, and that was a private thing that we had worked out together. And then from there, we called in once in a while and pranked him with the fake I did the Asmodor impression and stuff, and he started getting angry about that, even though people liked the crank calls and we weren't flooding him with that. And then he just increasingly started getting more and more on edge, more ready to just start attacking us. And then he did the Jereb thing, where he said, I forwarded these emails from Jereb that he sent me, these vague emails where he said, I'm going to resist the government, and he said I forwarded those to the FBI. And we're just like, what the hell, man? Really? Did you have to do that, Chris? And he went from there, and then it was that, and then not long after, when we cranked him a few other times after that, and then it was like, all right, I'm banning all these guys from my platform, and I'm also, about ready to basically, I think it was a week or two after that is when he did the what was it? He was like, I'm considering other alternative channels into stopping these guys from calling my open phones show. And then before you know it, he's putting up, I pranked him with an account that he gave me on the site, an author account with no strings attached. I didn't hack into the site like he said. I posted with that author account, the picture of the picture that he took himself. I posted that on there and some other goofy stuff. Like, I posted what he's saying. Like, I tried to pretend to be him to contact Dino Capuzzo. What I did was I posted something that said, an open letter to Special Agent Dino Capuzzo, and it was just like 2 sentences like, why don't you return any of my calls, boo? Or something like that. I have it archived. I can send it to you if you want. And it was like an obvious joke. It was like, why aren't you returning any of my calls? Like, you're giving me the cold shoulder, Dino. And that was it. I didn't actually contact Dino as Chris like he said I did to talk to him. So after that was when he said, I have contacted the FBI and reported Vic Mackey and Mosin-Nagant for defend. The thing is, Mosin had nothing to do with that, with the site defacing. He had nothing to do with that. He had nothing to do with even most of the calls. And he's the one that Chris just doxed.
Yeah. Why did he have such bad blood with Mosin?
He just doesn't. Well, it's, and Mosin actually he actually supported him. He actually bought stuff off his website, and that's of course how he got his information. But he just assumed that Mosin was part of it because Mosin had been making fun of him a bit on the Telegram. That was probably why he assumed that Mosin played a part in it, but he had nothing to do with it. It was me. I'm the one who did it. I'll admit it. And I'd do it again.
Look, I get that situation, because I've had people that have done some pretty fucked up shit to try to get at me. And, I'll see people around them, and it's very easy to just, tar with a broad brush, but at the same time, it's like people have social groups. And, I get that guilt by association is a bad trip. I mean, it's a very easy thing to engage in, and often it does lead you to, important connections. But, to hit somebody who's not directly involved, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The use of force. Yeah,
Mosin called him once or twice on the show and said, "Oh, you're a Chris." That was basically all he did. He was like, "Yo, you're a cuck sellout, and you're a," and that's basically the extent of what Mosin did to him.
Also, I believe Mr. Nealon has fixed his headset issues. Their brother.
Right?
Randy.
Mr. Nealon, can you hear us?
Paul, Mr. Nealon?
I think he muted himself.
Oh, no.
All right, well, either way,
I have to give you your Metamucil.